Hello and welcome to Shot Clock, the show where our student experts will argue on some different takes based in the sports world, and we'll see just how good or bad they are. I'm your host, Rin Scott, and let's meet our panelists today. We've got Calvin White, Abby Haines, Jackson Stafford, and Gabe Shaw. Here's how the show works. So each panelist will get 30 seconds to give their take, and depending on how good their argument is, I'll give them up to three points for their answer. And after that, everybody can jump in and refute that point, and they might be able to gain up to 2 points themselves as well. With that, let's get started with our first question. Up first, we're going to be talking about what is the best sports video game. And with that, Calvin, over to you.
Well, you know what, Rin? I got to go with a classic here, Madden. Madden NFL football. It's really the quintessential football game. And when you're talking about sports, football is one of the most popular sports, at least in America. It's one of my favorite sports. And growing up, I grew up on Madden. But specifically, I'm talking about Madden on the 6th generation of consoles. We're talking about the PlayStation 2, the original Xbox, and the GameCube. I think before they switched over to the Xbox 360 and the PS3, the gameplay of Madden was really at its peak. It was actually physics-based. They took a lot of time and put a lot of depth into the offline modes instead of focusing on what they focus on now, which is like microtransactions and such. But to me, currently, Madden is still a good game. They are getting better, and they're getting back to what they used to do. But back then, PS2 era Madden was the most in-depth for franchise, for career mode, and the gameplay itself was the best it's ever been.
I got to give you that one that at first when you said Madden, I was a little on the fence because it has recently been very samey and very, very filled with microtransactions. But those classic ones back in the mid to late 2000s, they really just hit hard. And so I gotta give you 2 points for that one so far. But let's see. I don't know. What does everyone else think about Madden?
I think the newer Maddens kind of just lower the value of Madden as a whole. Just look at the last 5 years. It's like basically copy and pasting every single year. They don't really care about offline players as much. They just put all their focus into the Ultimate Team modes where they make the most money. And yes, those old games are great. I love them too, but I think you got to look at the new games as a whole.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. You know, the newer games, it seems like they're putting less effort into them, if anything. The older games hold so much nostalgia, as Calvin said, and the fact that it's almost as if the graphics are getting worse. I mean, they're not, but it looks like they are when you play the new games, and it's just because it's like they care less and less, and it's just a copy and paste, like they just previously stated.
Yeah, and that's why I chose to specifically say the PlayStation 2 era Madden, because that's what I grew up playing. And honestly, I go back and play it myself now because I've grown tired with the way that Madden is currently, with microtransactions, and I'm an offline mode player. I like franchise. I like the superstar mode. Those were really at their best in the PlayStation 2 era from about 2004 to 2012. Those were the best Maddens, and that's why I think that's the best sports game ever.
Now, I think the big question here is which one of those Maddens is the best one? Because if we're just gonna, if we can't say that it's just all Madden, you gotta pinpoint one.
I can give you one Madden specifically, and that would have to be Madden 2008 with Vince Young on the cover. 2007 was one that I played a lot, and that was the first one to have the superstar mode where you could play as your own player. But 2008, the next year, they actually built on it. They had a lot of new gameplay mechanics like hit sticks, juke sticks. The depth in the franchise mode was very, very good. It felt immersive. You felt like you were actually running a team. So 2008 Madden, it was still on the PlayStation 2. It was on the PlayStation 3 as well, but if you played it on the PlayStation 2, you would have had more fun.
You know, Calvin, I got to give you that one for there. I'm going to give you the full 3 points just for saying that you did, in fact, pick the most peak Madden. So with that, let's move on to the next one. Abby, what do you have for your best sports game?
I went a completely different route. I went with Esports. It's just such a nostalgic game. It really is like the best sports game. Like family game nights, playing Wii bowling is like peak. There's so many sports in one game, so it's just a wide range of things that you can do And not to mention that there's been 82.9 million copies that have been sold. So if Calvin's saying just one specific game out of a whole franchise, I'm saying just Wii Sports in general.
I gotta give you that one. Wii Sports definitely is probably one of the most influential sports games. Got a lot of people into video gaming, just from the fact that the Wii was kind of the console that brought so many different people into the gaming scene. So I gotta give it to you there. That is a very, very influential game. But it still might have its flaws here and there. I mean, Wii Sports Resort came out a few years later, and that kind of just got everything off the ground and just really, really brought it up a notch. So I'd like to open it up to the panel here. What do we think?
Yeah, I think Wii Sports are great games. You know, as Abby said, I grew up with my family playing them as well. But Abby, I actually have a question. How many times did you throw that Wii stick at the TV when you accidentally went to swing it at something? You know, it was really fun, and sometimes that would just happen on accident.
That's why you got to wear the wristlet, Gabe.
No, I know.
It says in the
It's
instructions that you
gotta
have
live
to
life on
wear
the
the
edge.
wristlet.
I know it's fun, and if it wasn't for the wristlet, I think 100,000 more TVs would be broken. So.
All right, well, with that, Jackson, what's your best sports game?
I'm on the same wavelength as Abby here. I'm going Wii Sports. I remember going to Best Buy as a kid, getting a Wii, getting the Wii Sports game that came with it, and just putting lots of hours into it. You get 5 games for the price of one, basically. You get baseball, golf, boxing, tennis, and baseball. Did I say that already? I can't remember. There's too many, so many. You could play with anyone. You could play with your grandparents who have no idea how to play a video game. It's just all of those things combined, I think, make it the best sports game.
All right, well, if we're talking about Wii Sports, now we got 2 people here on Wii Sports, so I gotta ask, what is the best game within Wii Sports? A little
Bowling.
side tangent here.
Bowling. Ooh. Or the bicycle one.
But that's Wii Sports
That is
Resort.
Wii Sports Resort.
That's not Wii Sports.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's
It's
completely
They
all
are
in
very
a
different games.
huge category of Wii Sports.
I don't know, because if we count that, then we have Nintendo Switch Sports, which is technically in that series, and we don't want to talk about that.
No, that's not even close to the same
Trash.
level as Wii Sports.
All right, well, with that, we got one more on here. Let's move over to Gabe. What do you have as your best?
Yeah, I'm going to have to pick EA College Football. Since its cancellation in 2014, fans were begging for years and years for EA to finally come back with it. And when they finally did come back with it in 2024 with College Football 25, it was the highest selling sports game of all time. It numbers off the charts for sports games because people missed it so much. It's one of the greatest football games of all time. And if you want to talk about it, kind of like Madden, what Calvin was saying. But I think the cool part about it, too, is in these newer games now you can start a career mode and a franchise mode, and you can go up through college, and you can link it to your Madden account where you can draft your player. So I think it's a really cool way, and you can play as so many more teams, so many more colleges. I think it's just a great football game, and there's a reason why fans were begging for years and why it's sold so many copies, and it's the highest selling sports game of all time.
EA College Football definitely is one of the games, especially this most recent one, that really has made a huge difference in football gaming. But the issue that I see is it still carries with it a lot of the bad jujus that they have over in Madden as well. And so I want to kind of bring this over to the panel one more time. What do we think? Do we think those old school Maddens are the college football of today?
Well, I mean, I think, Gabe, you brought up a point that I want to bring up again, is the fact that people missed the old college football so much that it became the #1 selling college or sports game ever. But I don't think that was on the merit of actually the gameplay and the depth of the offline modes, because as someone who bought into the hype and was so excited that it came back, I bought that game for the offline modes particularly. That first year, I mean, they're better this year in College Football 26. They're not even as good as they were back in NCAA 14 before it got canceled. So, in my opinion, College Football 25 isn't even the best college football game, so I don't think it can be the best sports game.
Yeah, and of course the quality did go down this year. Like, it sold less copies. The game isn't doing so well. But I think the fact that EA came back with it is just a testament to how much fans wanted it. And EA ruins whatever they touch. They're just filled with those microtransactions we mentioned earlier. They're not a great company to buy from because it's like they care more about selling more than the actual quality of the product. So EA itself doesn't really make the greatest games, but I just think that college football is super important to sports fans. But I am going to have to agree with Calvin. I do think the NCAA games were probably better than the newer ones.
All right, well, with that, we're going to move on to our second question here. Right now, we had some big takes, lots of points on the board. Currently, it's a tie between Calvin and Gabe here at 5 points each. But let's see if they can keep that momentum going into the next round. And this one is going to be, what is the best esport? Calvin, let's start us off.
Well, you might disagree with me on the fact that this is an esport, but I got proof that it is. I'm going with chess as the best competitive esport of all time. So if you're talking about competition, you can't get more competitive than chess. There is no RNG, there is no luck. It is purely skill-based. And it's one of the most popular games in general of all time. Recently, we've seen a huge boost in the bullet/blitz chess format, which is like 5 minutes or a minute or less to play on both sides. So when you're talking about esports, you're thinking about online, and there is a huge online chess buzz currently. We saw that after the tournament Pog Champs on YouTube. There's millions of dollars offered in these online chess tournaments. And recently, in 2025, the Esports World Cup, chess was actually featured as an esport. So I think if you're talking about competition, chess is the most pure competition esport that you got.
Yeah, but at the end of the day here, I mean, I don't think that chess counts as an esport. It's definitely, I mean, obviously, chess.com, that's really brought a lot of people into the game. But at the end of the day, it's a board game. And there's not really much difference that having it as a online esport brings into it rather than just playing it on a board.
I got to completely disagree with you, Rin. There's a lot of differences. When you're playing someone online, you can do things called pre-moves where you can actually pre-move, obviously, your pieces to capture where you think someone else's pieces are going to go. You can do that up to like 10 or 20 moves in advance, and that's a completely different strategy that you got to take into account when you're playing these fast-paced game modes, which also are completely different than how normally chess is. Usually, it's both sides have 60 minutes to play. And online, you usually see these blitz and bullet formats where there's only a minute, and that quick thinking and the pre-moves and the thinking ahead completely changes it. It's a different game than it is on a board. So that's why I think it is an esport.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, having it go fast, you can play it fast on a board. The
Not the
pre-moves,
same way,
sure, but I mean, still, you can do that on a board.
You can't, though. You really can't. The way that like players like Hikaru Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen, some of the best players in the world, they're great on board, but moving a piece on a screen with a mouse is way faster, and you can get more in-depth short games than you can on the board.
All right, I don't know. I gotta bring this one up to the panel. Do we even think that this counts as an esport here?
No, I wouldn't even consider chess a sport itself. So considering chess an esport is ridiculous. I'm nowhere near that. No.
Then you disagree with the Esports World Cup then?
I mean, yeah, chess should not be a sport. I don't think it's a sport at all, and I don't think it should be an esport either.
Yeah, I completely agree with Gabe on this one, and Rin.
I'm with you guys too. It's just a board game that happens to be online, and even if it's like considered an esport, it couldn't be the best esport game out there.
I don't know. I think you're really gonna have to defend yourself on this one, Calvin.
I mean, I don't see how it's not an esport. It is considered a sport. You might not think it's a sport, Gabe, but it is considered a sport by pretty much everybody because of the competition, the competitive nature of it, and the fact that there is physical exertion in the way that you have to play it, and you have to endure those long formats, at least over the board. But online chess has to be considered an esport. It is an electronic competition.
All right, I think we're all done. I think that there's not really any more argument here that could be made. I think genuinely it's not an esport. It's a board game, and genuinely I agree that it might be a sport, but not an esport. I gotta disagree. Anyways, Abby, give us an esport.
Well, I actually picked a esport, a video game. I went with Fortnite. it is competitive, much more competitive than chess. It's pulled a huge viewership. There's new seasons monthly to keep players coming back to play more. And it's one of the biggest esport money earners out of the whole esports program.
That's true. Fortnite genuinely makes a ton of money. It's insane how much the prize pools for a lot of those tournaments are. And genuinely, it's one of those esports that, like, the game came out in, I want to say, 2015, and is still going strong. It's insane to me just how well that game has taken off and continues to take off, even though it's kind of just that same sort of thing, and it's still technically the same game. It's never really a sequel, it's just different seasons. To the panel, what do we think?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Abby. It's a great esports game. You know, you can grab your friends, you play it, and there's a lot of people that are super, super competitive. So I think it fits great in with the esports world. And I mean, there's not much else to say. It's just one of those games where it's like, if you don't play it, what are you doing?
I think the fact that you brought up the money, I think that's another thing that you got to think about with chess. There is money in chess esports.
And he's still off of the panel anymore. With that, I think we got to go over to Jackson. Hey, listen, do you have chess?
I do not have chess or any other board game adjacent thing. I'm going with Rocket League. It's the most similar to a sport, soccer, but you have cars. And when you watch the top players play this, it's amazing to watch. There's no luck like other esports. It's pure skill, physics-based, and what separates it is just, once again, those high-level players and also the commentators. I think the commentators of Rocket League esport events really elevate it to make it the best.
That's true. I mean, Rocket League, again, similar to Fortnite, has really taken off. It has that really unique take where it is, like, super similar to a sports game, if you watch FIFA or something, but it's cars. It's cars with, like, their little Hot Wheels with boosts. It looks insane, and the tricks that people can do going into that game is crazy. I genuinely agree that, like, this really is one of those top esports. I don't know if it's quite there with Fortnite, though, so I think we're going to have to bring this one back to the panel.
I think you're basically doing the same thing game after game after game. In Fortnite, you're doing different things every game. You're never going to the same place. You're always finding different things rather than just playing soccer with cars.
Well, I think what makes it above Fortnite is that Fortnite has luck base. You know, hit scan when you're shooting your gun. It might hit the enemy, but it might not register. And based off of what guns you find in a chest, how many heals you find, where the storm goes. I think all of that is just so much luck involved. But with Rocket League, it's all skill. It's all about how good you are and how much better you are than your opponent.
Yeah, and I know that Rocket League's more of a esport than chess is, so that's at least that counts.
So look, Rin, if you think that chess is technically a sport, what does esport stand for?
Electronic sport, which means...
So if
that
chess
it
is a sport
game.
and you're playing chess electronically, what would it be considered?
I think that it would be considered a sport because it's the same as
But
a
you're
board
playing
game.
it electronically.
Hold on, Calvin. Is checkers an esport?
If they play it online, then yeah.
Is Scrabble an esport?
If you're playing it online and there's a tournament for Scrabble online, then yeah, why not? Of
So
course it's an
therefore,
esport.
Monopoly Go online could be
If there's a
an
tournament for
esport?
it, then yes, I consider that an esport.
Well, yeah, let's just call every board game an esport now if it has an online mode, yeah.
If there's an online mode where people are competing in a tournament for money and there's like ratings and rankings and teams, there's esports teams for chess. Like, you can't just say it's not an esport when I have seen there's esport teams on it. Like Hikaru Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen, two of the best chess players, not just online, but on the board, are also on esports teams. So, like, it's an esport.
And what do they do, sit on their chairs for 20 hours a day and don't move? I mean, that's what all chess is. You sit in a chair and move piece by piece. It's
So
not
is
a
every
sport.
single other video game? I don't
Yeah,
see the point
exactly,
there.
but they're video games for esports. They're not considered real sports. Chess shouldn't even be considered a sport in general.
At the end of the day here, I mean, here's the issue, is that if we have to be contending whether chess is an esport or not, then it's definitely not the best esport. Here's the thing, like Fortnite, Rocket League, we can consider both of those games esports, and we all agree that those are definitely esports. What is chess doing here?
It's a competition online. It's a game. It's an online game. I think if there's an
All right, I think we're going to have to get rid of his mic for the rest of this show, unfortunately. We're just going to drop his points a little for that one. But with that, Gabe, give us one more.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Valorant here. It's one of the most popular esports games of all time, and I personally haven't played it before, but whenever I go on YouTube or like Twitch or something, I'll always see someone streaming Valorant and playing with their friends. It's super, super, super competitive from what I've seen, and I just know it's one of the most popular esports games. It's played by millions. In general, like there's big cups and everything, and I think I know here at Husson there's an esports team for Valorant, so I just think it's one of those games where it's like very, very, very popular in the esports community, and it's just it's kind of hard to be topped.
I do have to say you played your host a little bit there on that one as one of the captains for the Husson Valorant team. I do have to say Valorant is a really, really cool esport to watch. It's really just fun to learn the strategy, see a lot of the different players. But it's also very new to the scene. Of course, Rocket League and Fortnite, they came out in like the mid-2010s. Valorant only started about 5 years ago, and it's had its time in the sun, but do you think that it can really maintain that in the same way that Fortnite and Rocket League could?
I mean, yeah, why not? Like, again, tons of people play it, and it's like I said, if you go on right now on Twitch, you're probably going to find someone streaming it because people play it so often, and I just think it's going to be one of those esports to compete now. Like you said, Fortnite and Rocket League are those top games, with Fortnite probably being way up there, so it's going to be tough to compete with Fortnite, but yeah, I mean, I think it can compete. I mean, it definitely can compete with chess. It's probably already raised over it after the first week of being an esports, so yeah.
All right, well, with that, that is about the end of this segment. Does anyone have any final thoughts on esports?
Chess as an esport was the worst choice you could have made, Calvin.
You know, for
so.
just this once, I think I'm going to unmute him.
You know what?
right.
You all can have this like witch hunt against me and the fact that chess isn't an esport, but I think I laid out.
Okay, never mind. He's muted again. With that, we're going to go over to break. And with that, we will see you in the next section. It's going to be Gabe and Abby in the finale here. We'll be right back.
Get caught buzzed driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom.
It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So who's gonna do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Jackson Reading.
All right, welcome back to Shot Clock. We are in here to the final round. We've got Gabe and Abby on the board. Welcome to the finale, and we're going to see what our last question is here. And I think this is probably one of the biggest questions in gaming. What is the best video game overall? Gabe, start us off.
Well, I'm definitely going to get a hot take here, and I don't know if a lot of people are going to agree with me, but I'm going to go with Spider-Man PS4, the first one, because it is one of the highest selling superhero games of all time, right up there with the Batman Arkham games. And just to me, it's one of the most fun times I've had playing on a video game console. I have almost every single save file in the game itself filled because I keep playing it over again. I never don't have fun when I play it, and it's just one of those games where it just has a great story. You know, it refers back to the comics a lot. The designs are great. The mechanics are unbelievable. It's way better, miles better than any of the previous Spider-Man games before it in terms of mechanics, and it's beloved by the Marvel community of like the fans and everything, and just it's accurate. You know, it's had some great villains in it that were never really portrayed in the media until this game, and I think it's just one of the greatest games of all time. It's definitely the greatest superhero game of all time, and I think I can make a strong argument.
All right, well, hey, that is definitely a really, really good game. When it first came out, it really took a lot of players by storm. Genuinely one of the most mechanically polished games that has ever released, and also the story was really good. Not only did it hit Marvel fans, but it also got a lot of people who weren't interested in Marvel just to play the game, because it was a really good open-world game with a really good story. But best of all time is very, very high praise. I think that with that, Spider-Man is really good, but I'd say maybe top 100 games, maybe.
I mean, yeah, if it's number one, it has to be top 100.
Hey, you know, that's not a terrible argument. But before we can make any more, Abby, what's your top game of all time?
Well, my game needs no introduction. Minecraft is obviously the best game to ever exist. There's just so many options. You can build, you can play survival mode, you can explore. It still gets big updates to this day, and there's so many modes, songs, movies about this game. It's just, there's nothing like it. And it's literally the best-selling game of all time with over 300+ million copies sold. So I don't think you can really argue with that.
Minecraft is genuinely one of, like, probably actually, I would argue, the most just, like, variable game ever. And so I think that, I mean, it's got the single-player gameplay. It's got several kinds of multiplayer gameplay. It's got all kinds of just, like, player-made servers, player-made mini-games, entirely different games that have been made in Minecraft, not to mention the massive amount of like a spectator scene it has, watching it on stuff like YouTube. I genuinely think that it's going to be really hard to beat Minecraft here. But Gabe, what is your argument against that?
I mean, Abby said that has multiple movies. There's only one movie. And I don't recall Minecraft having any sequels. Spider-Man has spawned 2 sequels and more in the works already. And I think in itself, those 2 sequels are great. I played both sequels. I love both sequels. And while I do play Minecraft, I can't agree with Minecraft being my number one. I'm gonna have to go with Spider-Man. I just think it's a great game, like I said, and I can always go back and play it, even when I don't want to. I'm still gonna go back and play it because it's one of those games where I go back and it's like I never get tired of it. And with Minecraft, you go back and you're like, okay, I'm kind of tired of playing this. I just want to get off. For me, Spider-Man, I mean, you play it for a long time, you keep playing it, and I don't ever get tired of it.
Gabe, tell me this, okay? Minecraft, the game, created the movie about Minecraft.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, the game, is created because there's already a movie of Spider-Man.
Actually, Spider-Man, the game was created because there was comics, but nice try there, yeah. There's a bunch of Spider-Man movies based off the comics, and the game itself is just created based off of the IP from the comic, yes.
Yeah, so based off comics then. It's not based off the actual video game.
How can a video game be based off a video game?
Minecraft is the video game Minecraft created the movie.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is created from comics then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Abby, you bring up a very good point. I mean, Minecraft just has carried itself to not only the best-selling game of all time, but one of the largest media franchises of all time, entirely based on the back of that game that released. Spider-Man, I mean, of course, the game is great, but it came from a history of all kinds of other media that a lot of it didn't have to do with gaming. And so that's one of the really interesting things. Is just Minecraft, like, if we're talking legacy and impact of something, I don't think you can argue against Minecraft. Minecraft might be the most influential game of all time.
If we're talking about legacy, Spider-Man's been around for over 60 years. I think it's had a pretty great legacy on history. And I mean, the reason they created a video game is because how popular of a character he was. And the video game is one of the most highest selling superhero games of all time because he's a beloved character, and that's why of his legacy and everything that he's influenced, his character has influenced through so long, and is because of his character. Now I know it's because of the comics, but I mean it's kind of hard to. If you're talking about legacy here, Spider-Man has one of the greatest legacies of any fictional character, I think we could say.
You know what else is hard to argue with, Gabe?
Yeah.
Statistics, that Minecraft is the best-selling game of all time.
I mean, you're right. I can't argue that because Spider-Man doesn't just add up to that. You're right. I mean, it's also hasn't been around for as long as Minecraft, but.
All right, well, with that, I'm very sorry, Gabe, but I don't know if there was an argument to be made there, unfortunately.
I mean, I made my argument, so.
I mean, you did. Unfortunately, it didn't work, but there was certainly an argument made. With that, I got to give it to Abby. Abby, you are our winner today of Shot Clock, and that's it, folks. I've been Rin Gately. You're watching Shot Clock. Have a great night.